Have you ever questioned your self-worth and you've thought to yourself, I'm not good enough to do this, or I'm not confident enough to do this? It's a really common um, self-talk that I hear often every day. And I'm going to explain to you in this video today about why you really feel not enough and how you can fix it today. So if you're new to this channel, this is all about finding your brave so that you can create a life you love. And my name is Vicki Lord. And I want to use the analogy of a tree today and help to paint this picture so you can get to the root cause of why you feel not good enough. And so if you think of a tree, we look at out in the garden, you'll see the tree above the earth. And what we don't see is under the earth. So under the earth, we have all these deep, bigger roots because once there was a little seed that was stuck into the ground and the seed opened up and it created roots that went down into the earth. And then a big trunk started to grow on the tree. Some branches grew, some leaves grew, and then the tree looks nice and proud out there in the garden. And so the roots that we don't see are really strong and they're keeping the tree up and it's keeping it thriving. And when we talk about not feeling good enough, that's what we see. So if we're using the tree analogy, we see the trunk and the leaves and we relate that to our own life. So we're like, oh, I don't feel good enough. But what's actually happening when you don't feel good enough is that there's actually something deeper than that. And the way that we can get to the bottom of it is through some awareness. And if we look back at our ancestors, we'll notice that there was the same rhythm happening throughout. And if you look at the caveman days, you'll see that they had to survive by not getting eaten by tigers. And so we have this natural part of us that wants to stay alive, because life is beautiful and we'll do anything that we can to stay alive. And what happens is when the thought of safety or survival comes in. So you have to do stuff with yourself that will keep you safe. And when it comes to not feeling good enough, you're not going to be eaten by a tiger, but you're going to have a feeling that's going to be like you're going to be eaten by a tiger. And so if you ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? So if that thought pops up of, oh, I'm not good enough, or no one's going to buy my stuff, or I'm just not confident enough, what's the real question or what's the real tiger behind that? What am I really afraid will happen because I'm not good enough? And asking that question, what am I afraid of from not being good enough? What am I afraid of from not having the confidence? What am I afraid of by not speaking up? And that will give you the truth about why you don't feel good enough, because the feeling of not being good enough is um, a sign of a deeper belief. And you get to that deeper belief by getting really clear. If you don't get your first answer after asking, what am I really afraid of? That means you haven't gone deep enough. And sometimes you need to ask this question 7 times, and you'll know when you get to it because you'll feel your whole body will go, and it will feel like you're fighting a tiger. And that will be the honest truth where you're at. I'll give you my own example of this so that it can come home for you. I once went for business coaching. I did a business breakthrough. And when I went there, she asked me, what was I really afraid of? And it was just service levels. I was like, oh, not being good enough, not having the confidence. And she kept doing this process, which is called chunking down. And so she kept asking me, what are you really afraid of? And then it just blurted out of my mouth. I was like, I hate myself. And I realized right there that the self-hate was actually really what it was. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It was that there was a level of hate in myself because I couldn't live up to what I wanted to be. And so once I became aware of the self-hate, then I could do something about it. As soon as I mentioned it, it was like I was free to go and create something else. And so, what I was really afraid of um, was not knowing love. So the opposite of self-hate is self-love. And so once I came to the realization that there was this deeper level of self-hate, and I decided to go on self-love and self-appreciation, and my whole world changed. And that was because I had the courage to ask what I was really afraid of. And obviously, the root cause there was I was afraid of not having any love. Love and connection are part of the wheels of life. And if you don't have love and connection, then it's one of people's top needs. So that was my experience with finding the root cause. And, you may not have a story of self-hate, but I want to challenge you today that if you have that little feeling comes up when you go and do something amazing with yourself, and the fear of lack of confidence or courage or um, self-worth pops up, ask yourself that question, what am I really afraid of? And get to the deeper part of it. And then you can flip it on its head and you can do the opposite. So the opposite of hate is love. The opposite of shyness is boldness. And you can do the opposite and then really start to create from a place that's not driven by the fear or a tiger jumping out at you. So I hope this video helped. If it did, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.